And welcome back. A recap of our top story. 3 Singaporean youths between the ages of 14 and 19 detained by authorities for plotting attacks. And for more on why this is happening to youths, we have counter-terrorism expert Dr Noor Huda Ismail with us to shed more light. Doctor, we are seeing these cases where those detained are getting younger. In fact, this case, 14 years old.
Yes.
Is this a worrying trend? And what are some similarities you've noticed in some of the most recent cases?
So I think this is one very important thing to note, that we are seeing the shifting of how people join, and more importantly now, those who are joining are getting much younger and then easier, because in the past you must be joining a specific group, offline group, but now they just go to a specific gadgets. So this is very worrying trend, where getting younger and easier for someone to get involved in any violent activities.
Now, looking at these cases, what stand out is that they're all self-radicalized online. Are young people being drawn in faster than before, you think?
Yes, of course, as young people is getting faster. In the past, it took years. And after the declaration of ISIS, 2014, we are seeing younger people joining, but it takes weeks or even months, but now even faster than that. Because now people can get access so many different social media, games, but it is very important to note, not every young people will be good onto that road. Only those are vulnerables. So they're individual or young people who have underlying issues. Those underlying issues that includes bullying, the idea of the need for being heard, quest for identity, quest for significance. So not all young people are vulnerable. So in this context, we need to give young people a self-confidence. So parents, teachers must instill a sense of confidence, and like it or not, parents must invest heavily in bonding with their children, so they can have enough open conversation about what they are doing online. Because now radicalization, in the past, radicalization require offline leaders, but now algorithm doing most of the work, So this is a trend that we need to be aware, but shouldn't be that to be panic about this, because games, internet is neutral, but now they provide easier access for young people to get access into harmful contents,
Now, on top of that, taking the case of the 14-year-old who was not only influenced by just one ideology. In fact, there was ISIS propaganda, mass shooting, and violent online content. In your opinion, does this suggest that young people today are becoming attracted to violence itself and not so much one ideology?
Yeah, I think ideology still play important role, but not the only things. In academic term, we call it composite violent extremism, where young people pick up ideology, inspiration from so many different outlets. So the main attraction will be to the violence itself. The violence is the main attraction for young people to go to constantly look into their gadget, to play games, and even to have encrypted interaction, So this is the thing that we have to be aware of.
And talking about games, platforms, and AI becoming a bigger part of young people, are they making it easier to be radicalized? In fact, could that also be a solution?
Yeah, I think we have to look at those gadgets, those IT development, if you mentioned AI, gaming, as a neutral platform. They are not the main cause for someone to get involved. We can use it both ways, because myself in Indonesia, I've been working a lot with the technological companies, try to use technology as a way to prevent radicalizations. So we must engage the platform as well. We must adopt technology as a way for us to prevent the online radicalization to take place. So we cannot purely blame the technology, or so we cannot stop our kid not to play game, but we must to use that the technology also for our benefit, for countering violent extremism, providing resiliency. So we need to find new ways to do it.
And talking about technology, how concerned should we be about individuals using technology to cause harm within Singapore?
So I think I think this is a very alarming phenomena that we need to take it seriously, where individual can, especially individual, can get access easily to harmful content, to get radicalized. It means that the barrier to get involved is getting lower. In the past, if we want to compare in the past, it takes a bit years. You need to find individuals, you need to find a group, but now already right in front of their pocket, in front of their, daily life. So this is something that community, especially teachers, parents, and community leaders must invest in this topic, in this very issue.
You've worked with detainees over the years.
Yes.
What have you learned about what helps a young person step away from violent extremism?
So I've been working, helping those individuals, especially young people, to get out from the violence, especially in rehabilitation. I always coin the term called triple H. Number one is heart. You need to win their trust, our ability to listen to them, because understanding their grievances doesn't mean we support them. Second thing, hand. We give them a skill. So if we want to create PCV initiative or initiative to challenge the narrative, those of online radicalization, we need to engage them. So peer. Last one will be what I call it head. So cognitive understanding, revisit their ideology, revisit the way they see the world. So I'm very super hopeful for the young people to go back to society and become an active member of society, because they are still very young. So in this context, the role of school, the role of education, the role of parent is very critical.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise in this field. And we've been speaking to Dr. Noor Huda Ismail from RESIS. Thank you.